Alright, so part 2 to the video. We are looking at examples that we're doing today in class, getting bonus points for, and I'm wanting you to do all the work and even graph them as well, their final answers. Okay, here we go. So the first thing that they gave us, we're looking for these three, and this is the equation that they gave us. So quick sketch is a vertical reflection across the x with a 1/12 is that compression. Okay, so it's a reflection across the x-axis. It's a vertical compression by 1/12. But just like Joseph caught in notes today, it doesn't mean it's down 1/12. Okay, it doesn't mean that we have to set this equal to 1, which again, I don't expect you to do this, but if you wanted to know the x, it would be the square root of this -12. And that's of another thing, okay? But for now, what I want you to do is just know that it looks like that. Okay, so the vertex is at the origin, so you should have drawn vertex or written 0, 0. And then the focus said we're looking for C, which would be the same as P, which is at focal length. And we know that 4 AP classes equals 1 tough year. We're going to have 4 times -1/12. Please put parentheses so that you know it's multiplication, not subtracting 1/12. And it's going to equal this 1. So 4 is the same as 4 over, this is what I was talking about by doing it by hand, because you'll have non-calculator questions, that fractions you're going to deal with for the rest of the year. This would reduce to a 1 and a 3, so I get -1/3 P is equal to 1. Anyone, what do I multiply both sides by to get P alone? By -3, right? By the reciprocal. So -3 would give me a +1 on the left and this on the right. So yes, the focal length is 3, but I want you to say -3 because it's looking down. Okay, the negative would look down or to the left, depending if it's a horizontal or vertical parabola. So the focus from 0, 0 would be 0, -3. We have the vertex at 0, 0. We have the focus at 0, -3. Anyone, what's the directrix? Not 0, 3. Y equals 3, right? Because this one is a line. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. You should have drawn it like this on your desks. Y equals 3, and you should have labeled it the directrix. Okay? So here are the points. Each circle will give you 10. And if you get them all, double your score. And then you tell me the score. So the vertex, the focus, drawing the parabola, drawing this dashed line of the directrix, labeling the directrix, finding P, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. 6. This next one that we're going to do in groups for 3 points, or sorry, for 3 points, for 4 minutes, is we are going to find the equation of the parabola where the vertex is at the origin. The directrix is x equals 1.25. Again, you're drawing, labeling everything. So the directrix lies directly to the right of the vertex. The parabola is horizontal. And then just so that you know, P is the same as C, I want you to look at it like this. So from those pieces, you come up with the equation, and we'll do it for bonus points. So let's resume the video. Here we go. What is the equation of this parabola? So they did show that it might be, or it did mention that it was going to be a horizontal parabola. The vertex is at the origin. So like I said, drawing it helps a lot. So 0, 0 is the vertex. The other thing it said was x equals a number is a vertical line. So at 1.25 is this directrix, which you should have labeled as x equals 1.25. Now, I've asked you to stay away from decimals, and the reason of that is what's coming, guys. There are things that are coming that if you refine fractions now, it's going to be a lot easier for you at the end of the year. So P is negative 1.25, and we have 4AP is equal to 1. So I could say 4 times A times negative 1.25, which I'm going to change negative 1.25 to 1.25. Okay? Which is the same as 5/4 as an improper fraction. And I keep trying to cancel these forms of 1 with you all year, and there's a reason because of what's coming. This will cancel to a form of 1, so that I get A times negative 5. A you should have gotten was a negative 1/5. Okay, so negative 1/5 is A. That tells you it's a reflection looking down, and it has a compression by a factor of 5, or 1/5. So it looks like, oops, not down. It's not looking down, guys. What direction is it looking? Left. So it always looks away from the directrix. Okay? Now we just have to find what is the coordinate of the focus. Well, that's pretty easy because they gave us the p-value. They gave us the p-value was negative, which is looking to the left, 1.25. So I'm going to put this focus as what? Negative 1.250. And if you put it as negative 5/4, 0, that's okay as well. Same thing. Okay, so here we go. We should have 6 parts.
We also need the equation of
Oh, I haven't finished that yet. Thank you. So A is negative 1/5. So we'll say x equals negative 1/5 y squared. Perfect. So I have 1, 2, 3. The parabola is 4. The directrix is 5. And labeling the directrix is 6. Ooh, this one has 7. I wanted the A as well. So 140 if it was perfect. So now I'm setting you up on this one. Here we go. The parabolic solar reflector, and this is what I was talking about in the other video. This is like a power plant of clean energy. Has a depth of 2 feet. This depth of 2 feet right here, let me highlight it so you can see it, is from there to here. Okay? So this is like a cross section of each of those solar reflectors. Another piece of information they gave us is that it is 8 feet across, basically from, let me do this in green, from here to here is 8 feet. Straight across from the tip of each one. 8 feet. And what we want to know is how far from the vertex is the focus. Guys, I want you to do the same thing. I want everything. I want the directrix, the focus, the vertex, the parabola. And I will help you out by starting for you that I want you to label this as the vertex, okay? 0, 0. Right here is the vertex 0, 0. Now what your goal is, remember that focus is somewhere above that vertex. And I want you to find that along with everything else and label it. You have 4 minutes. Alright, resuming the video. Here we go real quick. I'm recreating where this is located. And the vertex that we had was 0, 0. Okay? What makes this difficult is I'm not given the focus and or the vertex. What Raquel said earlier in the notes, these are the hard ones where you're not necessarily given the focus and or the vertex. So from here, the reason why they gave us this 2 feet of how deep this thing is that they're saying I can create up to over 4. I can get 4,2 is the point that's on the parabola. Because we know this full thing is 8 feet across, then this would just be 4 feet get to that x value. It's 2 feet deep. There's my point. Okay? So let's keep going. We know that this is a vertical parabola, so it's y equals ax minus h squared plus k. We know h and k are 0 because it's a vertical parabola at the vertex. And now if I use 4 AP classes equals 1 tough year, I can help myself by finding, in this case, I don't have P or A. I'm going to have to do something different to find P or A. So I need to do some manipulation with the equation right here. So when I have a point, these are the hard ones that I was saying at the very beginning when I highlighted it on the video. When I have a point on the parabola, I can use that point to find A. Just like you used to use a point when you knew the slope but you didn't know the y-intercept. If you had an x and a y, you could find the y-intercept on the line back in Algebra 1. So we're doing that right now. We'll put 2 equals a times 4 squared, which is 16. So 2 divided by 16, which is 1/8, is A. So if A is 1/8, our equation is 1/8 x squared. And now that I know A, I can find P. 1/8 P is 1 tough year. What's 4 times 1/8? 1/2. What's P? 2, right? And it just is coincidentally as deep as it is. It's not just, oh, it's just going to be 2. It's going to be however deep it is, that's where you should put. That's not how it works. This is a coincidence that it worked that way. Okay? So here we go, 6 parts. We will go 1, 2, 3, 4. The parabola is 5. And what's the directrix? Y equals -2. So you have to label the directrix and actually put it as y equals -2 to get your 6th point